reason I'm making this short video is to address the issues of who am I, where did I come from, and the common questions that are never really answered by anyone. And I know that there's so many gurus in this world through the centuries of time that have had their own answers that are quite appealing to so many people, but it's generally a misunderstanding of what reality is, and the reason being is because excuse me, I've got a cold, but the reason being is because honestly, they have never experienced enlightenment, and I know that for the most part, people would like to believe that these gurus are enlightened, and they would pledge their lives to the fact that that's the case, but it simply isn't. It's like, I like to use the analogy of a lemon. We can talk about lemons endlessly, and until you actually eat a lemon, the word lemon is just a word. It doesn't mean anything to anyone that has not eaten a lemon before. If you've never eaten a lemon, they might associate the word with the color yellow, or they might associate the word with something semi-round, or a fruit, or a vegetable, or whatever it is, but they don't know what it is. The word lemon has meaning to those who have actually eaten lemons. Enlightenment is just a word that only has meaning for those who are actually enlightened. Everybody else, it's just a word defining a bunch of characteristics that they assume are associated with someone that's enlightened, but they don't know. There's no point in looking it up in the dictionary as to what enlightenment means, because the dictionary is an inanimate object that has nothing to it but words associated with people who thought they knew what they were talking about. Nevertheless, you can't get the taste of a lemon out of a dictionary, and neither can you get enlightenment from the dictionary or a person that doesn't know what enlightenment is or anything else. Getting back to the who am I and where did I come from, everybody wants an answer for that. And if you can provide an answer, even if it's hyperbole, it doesn't matter. People are going to listen, and especially if your answer seems to be something that people want to hear. And so they've been gaining followers for centuries, centuries, millennia, but it's not true. Advaita Vedanta has been misunderstood since Adi Shankara first talked about it. Whether or not he knew what it was is neither here nor there. The bottom line is nobody else has interpreted it correctly, and probably he didn't either. He was just another intellectual that was going around trying to defeat his opponents to show how intelligent he was. It had nothing to do with enlightenment, nothing to do with anything other than trying to prove how smart you are. But anyways, there is no answer to who you are, because who you are is what you are displayed at. Please excuse me. What you're displayed at this time in your life by the choices you make. Now, as a tapestry, if you will, you look at the back side of the tapestry and you'll see kind of a mess. You look on the front side, it's beautiful. But this particular life is nothing more than a small section of the tapestry. You've had many other lives before this, reincarnated as this, that, and everything else. And this is all putting together the piece of the puzzle that shows the entire tapestry. To think that you're going to figure it all out from this one particular life is crazy. But to say, who am I? Well, this is who you are, yes, indeed, is to what you're choosing. Everybody has a choice every moment of every day. And this is part of it. In one life you choose one thing, in another life you choose another thing. But it is certainly not random, and it is certainly not helter-skelter or unorganized. So, to say who I am, where am I going, where did I come from? The people who preach non-duality have no clue what they're talking about. Anyone who promotes non-duality, I can guarantee you, is not enlightened. They haven't a clue what they're talking about. They've misunderstood the entire teachings in the ancient Hindu scripture. Again, they're referring to words thinking they know what it is, just like a person who refers to a lemon that's never tasted a lemon. You can read the Bhagavad Gita and all the other things, and you can read the Holy Bible, but if you aren't immersed in it and experiencing it in a Gnostic type fashion, you don't know what it is, even though you think you do. And then the gurus that go preach about it, they don't know either. So you've heard the term nirvana, and that would be like if you, if I turned the lights off right now, and there was no, but you could hear my voice, for instance. In nirvana, you would think we're all one. Well, the camera just shows nothing but pure darkness. And there's a voice coming out of the darkness, therefore the darkness and the voice are the same. So, in that stage of the play, you've got people that are not actually sitting in the chair talking, but you have an audience outside watching the darkness and the voice coming out of the darkness. And so that since they've never actually sat in the chair, they would assume it all to be one, and they would say, well, it's non-duality. But that's not non-duality. That's all that is ignorance. It's not knowing what reality really is. Just because it's total darkness and you can't see anything doesn't mean something isn't individual and it is separate. So that's nirvana or Advaita Vedanta. That's that particular level of understanding. But you have to take that another step backwards. Shunyata is another Hindu word. Again, it's only a word, and it doesn't mean anything to a person that has never experienced shunyata. But if you take that darkness, which is total void of lightness, and you take away the darkness, and you take away the voice, and you take away the person that's speaking the voice, and nothing exists in that respect, then you've got shunyata. But that doesn't mean everything's one either. that is where they came up with the saying thousands of years ago, not two. Well, from the realm of shunyata, everything is in a essence form of not two, but that doesn't mean one either. So from that realm is where everything emanates. And in fact, to the enlightened level of Buddha, initially, you come to the conclusion that this reality is an illusion. It's not real. It doesn't exist. Well, it does exist, but in an illusory form only. And in an illusory form, just like nirvana, it is all one. There's no difference between anything other than perception. From a scientific point of view, we can say it's separated by atoms and molecules and all that kind of stuff. But anyone that understands the spiritual aspect of reality or the quantum mechanics of it understands that this reality is just one entity, one essence, one thing, indivisible. There's no separation between anything. You can't separate one and have two. It's just one. So to say, who am I, is an interesting question, because this is going to surprise probably literally everyone, because I've never heard anyone speak of this. But and it might be quite offensive to Christians or whoever that believe that God is omnipresent, omniscient, and all those sorts of things. Sorry for my phone going off. That's crazy. Sorry. Anyways, in this realm of shunyata, I'm going to use words because there's no other way to express it, but in this realm of shunyata, which is the only realm of existence, everything else is illusory, God does not know who you are. Now we can say God knows everything, and that would be correct. But the essence of what you are isn't something. So if the essence of what you are is not something, God does not know nothing. God only knows something. And in fact, God knows everything. But God doesn't know you. And God doesn't know me. And I don't know God. Now, I could go out on a limb here and say I'm fairly certain God knows me better than I know God. But be that as it may, the purpose for my existence here in this format, as well as you, is to define what you are from the realm of shunyata. In other words, since you emanate from a realm of nothingness, you have to create yourself. And I don't mean from a physical standpoint of hammers and nails and wood and steel and welding and all this stuff. I mean you're creating yourself from a seed form. In other words, the essence of what you are has no tangibility to it. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, you can't smell it. It is just in zero format, because that's all that does exist. And so there are, in human form, we are able to create ourselves given the materials or this reality that has been created for us. So we can manifest greed, because first off, we're not human beings. Human beings are incredibly intelligent animals. In fact, they're top of the food chain. And So we have the ability to do a whole lot of things as human beings, unlike a cat or a dog or whatever. And so we choose on a daily basis. Well, not on a daily basis, every second. We don't choose to breathe, that's a natural thing. I don't choose to make my heart beat, that's a natural thing. Although some people may have power over that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about choices of what to do with your work, your time, your money, whether you love people, hate people, whether you like the rain or you hate the rain. There's no evil in liking the rain or hating the rain. From an argument standpoint, there's no evil in killing, murdering, or not killing and murdering. But it's a defining moment of what you are. And if God is the type of essence, and those that gravitate towards God is the type of essence that they don't actually like to be murdered, then there needs to be a separation in a realm of no separation, because that's just a word that's defined in a physical world that there is separation. There has to be a parting. In other words, birds of a feather flock together. There's everything in life is a mirror of the true essence of what reality really is. Now your minds might wander towards, oh, I don't want to live in the realm of nothingness because that would be dry, dark, horrible. I want to stay alive in this world for all eternity because it's fun. The sun comes up in the morning, it's sunny, it's warm, or this or that, or whatever the case may be. But you got to remember, everything in existence emanates from that realm. So that realm is beyond imagination. It's much better than this realm. I mean, if you can create something and put it out there, then that realm must have everything that's created there and then some. So in that particular realm where you are emanating from, and you figure out through the process of what people are and who they are and what they are, when it comes back to the original, for instance, in Christianity they say, well, Judgment Day and all of this kind of stuff. Again, like Hinduism and all other things, these are simply stories depicting a type of reality. You don't want to take it literally. But there is a judgment type scenario, and the reason being is because you want to create an environment for yourself that you feel comfortable in. And if you happen to be identical to God, that's why Jesus says, I and the Father are one. That doesn't mean they're one. These are just words used. It's like, I and the Father are a lemon. I mean, it's just, if you don't know what one means, then all it means is one, like the letter one, like one lemon, one tree, one cookie. But that's not what it means at all. But you're never going to know what it means until what? You're one with God. It doesn't mean what people think it means. So, when you answer the question, or the guru answers the question, well, you don't exist, or this or that, they have foggy brains, they have foggy minds. There's nothing wrong with them, they're just not enlightened. There's nothing wrong with a kindergartner that doesn't know what a senior knows in high school. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a particular phase or a place where they're at that particular time. I'm not bad-mouthing gurus. I'm only telling you they don't know what they're talking about in the eternal scheme of things. They don't know. And neither do you. That's why, as human beings, you've got to the point of having an intellect to be able to question what I am. Where did I come from? But you're just mimicking the same question that God has. And that question is, who are you? And then you relate back to that and you say, who am I? I don't know. You ask me who am I? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who I am. Does a seed know what it is? Well, it will know when it sprouts and it grows into what it is. And then it'll say, oh, I'm an oak tree. Because that's what it grew into. You might take all these seeds in their initial format, be it an acorn or this or that or whatever it may be, and maybe they all look alike. In Christianity, they talk about taking the wheat and the tares. Apparently, these are seeds that look exactly alike. When they grow up, they look exactly alike, and there's no way to tell the difference. But clearly, there is a difference when they finally mature. And that's exactly what we are in the process of doing right now. We're in the process of maturing into what we truly are. So the realm of shunyata is all there is. But when I say that's all there is, that's a vacant of all things. But that doesn't mean nothing exists there, because nothing physical exists, because physicality is an illusion. It's a figment. There is no such thing as physicality. That's why when you look up in the sky and you see the galaxy or the universe and you go, oh, well, it must go on forever. No, it stops at a brick wall. Well, of course it goes on forever, because it doesn't exist. If you think in your mind, okay, I want to think of a endless universe and I'm going to make that universe go on forever. Well, then it goes on forever, because you just created it in your mind. That's the same thing as this. The reason I can't make it disappear is because I'm not in the process of creating it. I'm recreating it in my thought, but God is creating it. And I hate to use the word God, because that's kind of a silly, archaic, I mean, in biblical type stuff, Moses says, who are you? And he says, well, I am what I am, what I am. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, it certainly doesn't mean God. God is just a word. It's just a word defining a rank, if you will. It's like saying I'm the general. Well, there's all kinds of generals. 4-star generals, 1-star generals, general. They're all in different parts of God is the same thing. When you rise to the rank of being able to do certain things, well, that's a God. But that's a creation of humans. So that's who you are. What you are right now, when you look at yourself and you analyze yourself, and you look at that tapestry, and you look at the backside of the tapestry, which is all you can see in this life, is the backside of the tapestry. There is no way to know what the heck you are. But you can see from the choices you're doing. If an atheist happens to be a kind-hearted person, and then you have a Christian who is hateful to atheists, in the realm of judging all reality, the atheist is much better of a person. Atheism is a joke. All that is a person who is pragmatic, if you will, about reality. I don't have voices talking to me, and I have not seen a person stand above me in the air and say, oh, I'm God, so therefore I refuse to believe in God. Oh, well, who cares? It doesn't make any difference, because that person chooses exactly like the theist. Every moment of every day you have to choose. Do I want to be a greedy person? Do I want to be a nice person? Do I want to do this? Do I want to... Because that's the only thing that amounts to anything. That's how you create yourself. You create yourself in this existence. But as I said, this life, this realm, is just a small part of the entire tapestry of what you are. Albeit that there are many pieces of your tapestry already constructed by the mere fact that you're a human being at this particular time. You've gone pretty doggone far down that path. Anyways, I hope this helps explain a few things because they have it so very wrong. So very wrong in the world. I feel sorry for so many people who follow these people who don't know anything, but I recognize their rudimentary steps along the path. But it would be nice if people knew what the truth was. Anyways, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Bye.